Hartman. And that Masterbuilt chassis, he builds the power plant that supplies the power to that 75 car. Hartman brings the car out of turns 3 and 4. He'll set the mark at 21.356. 21.356. Bart Hartman. Hartman diving down on the inside to complete lap number 2. The 2 laps, consecutive laps, no wave-offs. The fastest of the 2 will hold up. 21.395, almost identical. 21.395, a little bit slower for Hartman. Dave Berkey out of Worcester, Ohio in the 40 car, second car out on the speedway. Dave Berkey. Track definitely will change as the afternoon goes along. We'll have to see if it gets quicker, slower, or what. We'll find out. Berkey's time, 22.5 and a pair of double nines. 22.599. Berkey, a regular up at the Buckeye Speedway. Takes the car out of turns 3 and 4. Second lap time for the R&B Transmission sponsored car, 22.827, 22.827. Second year late model driver in the Lubbock Tar Imperial Glass, the JJ1 out of Clarksburg. This is Jeff Yeager. Sophomore driver in the late model division, Jeff Yeager in the JJ1. Yeager winning a race earlier in the year at West Virginia Motor Speedway back in May. He takes the Rocket chassis car with a time of 22.215. 22.215. This a former Mike Smith car out of Mineral Wells, purchased over the winter months. Yeager takes the Imperial Glass time, 22.344. 07R, Claimer, New York's Brent Raybergen. Out of the New York State, the 07, the Mineral Transport. 07R, Brent Raybergen. First lap, 22.454. 22.454. Raybergen up a little bit high in 3 and 4, brings it downstairs. Second time, 23.110. Hoist 2J automobile. He's out of Imperial, Pennsylvania. This is young Mike Johnson. Mikey Johnson on the speedway now. Mike, a regular on the Stars circuit this season. Here he comes, second lap. First lap time, 21.651, 21.651. Mike currently 20th in points going into this afternoon's race. Dow pointed out a little bit earlier, Mike liked to turn his 1997 season around here this afternoon with a good run here at Pennsboro. 21.838, 21.838. Number 6, out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, this is Billy Hicks. Billy Hicks, Mount Airy, North Carolina, in the black number 6. Billy, a Jack Trent motor under the hood of that car. 22.238. Billy runs around the North and South Carolina area. Very competitive down in that circuit. Second lap time for the Warrior race car chassis automobile, 22.355. Star number 1 out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tub Frank. The Shoestring Traveler, they call him. Having a pretty good year this season. On the Max Series Tour on a regular basis, 21.793. 21.793. Travel aboard a rocket chassis. Second lap time for the Drain powered automobile, 21.492. 21.492. Last night's feature winner, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in the Malkin Powered T8, Dillonville, Ohio's Mark Bunnell. Mark having some good runs here at Pennsboro, especially in the 1991 Dirt Track World Championship. 22.388. 22.388. Body shop operator Mark Bunnell brings the car out of turns 4. 22.491, 22.497, excuse me, 22.497. Garland, Pennsylvania is the 03 of Chevy Scott. Garland, Pennsylvania. This may be Scott's first time to Pennsboro. Up on the high side just a little bit. Brings that Mount Penn sponsored car to his first lap, 24.326. Here he comes, second time, up just a little bit in the marbles. 24.998, 24998. The R1, St. Albans, West Virginia's estate. The driver is Rod Evans. Rod Evans in the R1. Evans runs around the Beckley, Bluefield area in the southern part of the state. First time, 22.354 for the Kanawha Valley sponsored car. Second time for the Kanawha Valley maintenance car, 22.445. Car, 25-year veteran, Cambridge, Ohio, Ty Long. Ty Long, the Speedway, started his racing career back in the 1972. First time, 22.286. 22.286. Right now, up front, Bart Hartman. The time to beat, 21.356. 21.356. Time, 22.640. 22.640. Second-year late model driver, competitor at Interstate 79 Speedway, young Robbie Scott out of Shinston, West Virginia. 20-year-old Robbie Scott on the Speedway. First lap time, 22.78. Scott works for the FBI Center, Fingerprint Center there in Clarksburg. Second time, 22.3112. 22.3112. Subway, sponsored number 33. This is Aaron Scott. Aaron Scott out of Newark, Ohio. In the yellow and white number 33 Subway sponsored car. Aaron been carrying the Subway colors for the last 4 or 5 seasons. First lap time for the GRT race cars, 22.128, 22.128. If you're writing it down, 22.457, 22.457. Barnett Racing Engines, car out of Salem. Mike, the 1997 Stars Rookie of the Year leader going into today's races. 22.736, 22.736. Lynn Davison turning the wrenches on this car as Mike Benham takes the car down into 3 and 4. Benham will have to almost scratch that lap. 24.247, 24.247. Up second last night at Interstate Speedway. He drives the Snowshoe Resort J-Rods Vending 00 automobile. Ladies and gentlemen, Beverly, West Virginia's Chuck Harper. Chuck, 22.122, 22.122. Harper, a lot of super glue keeping that motor together here this afternoon. He's on a wing and a prayer, as they might say. Hoping that motor will stay together all afternoon. 21.925, 21.925. That will put Harper your 4th fastest qualifier with that time. Last year, 96, he won the Mark Balzano Memorial Race over Billy Moyer. Last night at Interstate Speedway in 97, he comes back to make it a 2-time event. Ladies and gentlemen, car number 68, Weston, West Virginia's Tim Hitt. Hitt, 22.643, 22.643. Hitt driving the drain-powered rocket car. Hitt up in the top 5 in points going into this afternoon's race. Matter of fact, second after last night's great performance. 21,740. That will move Hit into the fourth spot with that time, dropping Chuck Harper back to fifth. Friday night's feature winner up at Interstate 79 Speedway. They call him DJ out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dave Johnson. Davey Johnson and the backup car, or the team car to his brother. First lap for Davey, 21.870. 21.870. That's your fifth fastest qualifier, dropping Tim Hit, or dropping Chuck Harper back one notch in the top six. Davey Johnson's time, 21.905. 21.905. It's still up front. Bart Hartman. Chuck Frank is second. Mike Johnson is third. Tim Hit is fourth. Davey Johnson is fifth. The man on the bubble right now, Chuck Harper, in the top six. On the speedway now, heading down the back straightaway. They call this gentleman the Floodwall Flyer out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, Mike Balzano. Balzano, the Corbin Trucking Entries, first time, 21.827. 21.827 for the grain-powered rocket chassis car of Mike Balzano. Ed Corbin around the Washington, D.C. supplying the funds to keep Mike Balzano up in front of the Stars Series points race. 22.036. Balzano right now currently fourth in points in going into today's race. Jim Zarin in the one Cochran car out of Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. Jim, a regular at the Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, who usually runs in the semi-late division. Believe his first start ever here at the Pennsboro Speedway this afternoon. First lap time, 22.590. 22.590 for that gentleman. Four he comes. Second time, 22.684. 22.684. Pennsylvania Motor Speedway cars. He has won this year on that event. Matter of fact, won to his credit. Lou Brady's Chester, West Virginia in the 5 car. Lou also carrying one of those new Ford bodies on that car. Looks very sharp as Lou keeps the car right in the middle of the speedway. His first lap time, not a real good one, 22.493. They won't be dancing for joy over that one. 22.493. Let's see if he can pick the pace up, kick the ponies into gear, try to get a little bit more horsepower under the hood of that car this time. Lou up a little bit high this time. Don't think this one also is going to be a good one. 22.732. 22.732. Dutch Davies out of Warren, Pennsylvania, on the speedway now in car number 40. The Keystone Subaru sponsored 40 car of Warren, Pennsylvania's Dutch Davies. Dutch trying to get a good lap in here midway, coming up on the midway point of the 66 cars in qualifying. Dutch's time, 22.685, 22.685. Things pretty much the same. Bart Hartman, the time to beat for fast time, 21.356, 21.356. That is the mark that everyone's shooting for right now. Dutch's time, 22.410, 22.410. you see taking the green now. Man, he is having a heck of a year. 16 feature wins, 3 stars wins to his credit. He's won just about everywhere this season on the East Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, Greencastle, Pennsylvania's Gary Stuhler. Reliable Paints Portrait Automobile 21,540. 21,540. Third fast time for Gary Stuhler. Your third fastest qualifier. Stuhler, second attempt. 21,363. 21,363. That will put Stuhler second. Second in line right now. In the RG3 TMI phone card sponsored automobile, the Bedford Bull himself, Bob Salafy. Salafy, let's see what he can do with this old 100-year-old clay surface racetrack. Not bad, 21,865. Pretty good time, needs to pick it up a little bit. Right now, the man on the bubble, Mike Balzano. Balzano, your 6th fastest qualifier right now. 21,790. 21,790. That will put Salafy into the 6th spot, knocking Mike Balzano out of the top 6. So Bob Salafy on the bubble. Balzano moves to the 7th fastest. The 10 car on the speedway, the A10, Coalville, Ohio. He won the Pure Stock event yesterday evening. This is Andy Bunn. Andy Bunn in car number A10, 23,265. Sponsored 10-23-128. 23-128. Wayne Mullin Jr. from way up in Mansfield, Ohio. The 7M car. Wayne, a regular at the Mansfield Speedway in the 7M. It's time, 23,087. 23,087. Track starting to change just a little bit. You notice the color starting to get a little bit white now, coming into that white area. 22,955. 22,955. The 70 car, 79 automobile on the speedway now. Strasburg, Ohio. Brad Malcutt doing the chauffeuring on this automobile. Brad Malcutt at the controls in the 79 car. Malcutt works the pedals, jumps on the binders down into 3. He brings that big Malcutt power plant to life. Coming down the front straightaway. 22,480. 22,480 for a guy that's been around racing for right around 30 years. Ran some ARCA back in the early 70s, some black top. And Brad Malcutt. Second lap time, 22,521. Dave Groves getting ready to take the green. And he does. In the Melwin's automatic transmission Simpson Plumbing car, 1996 track champion. Dave Groves Groves, Morgantown, West Virginia, calling home. Time, pretty good one, 21:7:47. Pretty good time for Dave Groves, snuck right in there. Your fifth fastest qualifier, I believe, unofficially. Dave Groves, good time for the Morgantown driver. Second lap time, 21:887. Groves, your fifth fastest qualifier. The gentleman started his career at the old Morgantown Speedway in 1977. Matter of fact, the bleachers that you're sitting on right now came from the old Morgantown Speedway. Groves is a sixth. I stand to be corrected. Your sixth fastest qualifier. Tim Harsh in the Hoffman Corporation number 10 car. Tim from the Bridgeport, West Virginia area. Tim's first lap, 22:7:45. 22:7:45. Tim moving up from the semi-late ranks last season. Second lap time, 22:4:76. 22:4:76. A 24 car now on the speedway now. This young gentleman, 24H, Dresden, Ohio. The Hartman Truck Center sponsored car of Rob House. Rob House in the 24H. 22:205. 22:205 for Rob House. I confused him with Trey House the other night at Interstate Speedway. Had the another talented chauffeur, but wrong division. All right, coming out of 3 and 4 this time. 22:4:35. Excuse me, 22:5:39. 22:5:39. A local driver coming now to take the green. Buck Lamb in the 7L car. Buck Lamb out of Marietta, Ohio. Super nice fella. One of the nice guys in racing. Buck Lamb in the 7L car for the Marietta, Ohio area. Bart Hartman still up front. First car out to qualify as Buck takes his first lap. First time, 22:6:55. 22:6:55 for Buck Lamb. Now, you know, first car out, Bart Hartman out to qualify, setting fast time. And it's still holding up, believe it or not.
Track really hasn't picked up that much, Pete, so we'll see what happens here as we get into the second half.
Buck's second time, 22:8:06. 22:8:06. Well, here's a guy maybe be able to change that time. Runs awful well here at Pennsboro.
He's been here for a long time and usually in the starting field. The Concord Automotive 1C, also sponsored by Budweiser this year. Lynn Geisler out of Cranberry Township. Lynn has switched over to the Rocket chassis within the past month. Lynn, the all-time leading late model winner at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, former Max Series champion, Lynn Geisler. 22.480. 22.480. The first lap for Lynn. Remember, the top 6 cars after time trials will be locked into the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. And the 6th fastest will start on the pole of that dash. Right now, that's Dave Groves. He is 6th fast right now. 22.329. 22.329 is lap 2. It's a little better for Lynn Geisler. 22.329. In the number 27 car out of Greensburg, North Carolina. Strong runner down there, Ray Tucker. Ray Tucker, one of the hot shoes down in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. 22.647, 22.647. The first lap for Ray Tucker. Right now it's still Bart Hartman first, Gary Stuhler second, Chubb Frank third, Mike Johnson fourth, Tim Hitt fifth, Dave Groves is sixth. 22.662, 22.662, lap 2 for Ray Tucker. Out of Millersburg, Ohio, driving the number 96F, Keith Berner. Keith Berner, strong runner. The R&R Speedway travels into the Buckeye Speedway in that area of Ohio. Keith Berner, the 96F. 22.354, 22.354, the first lap for Keith Berner. Time to beat still 21.356. To get into the top 6, you need to be faster than 21.747. 22.178, a whole lot better the second lap. 22. Rick Eckert led last year's Dirt Track World Championship until the closing laps as darkness was setting in, and Billy Moyer was able to sneak by and steal $50,000. 21.625, that's fourth fast right now. 21.625, moving Dave Groves out of the top 6. Does he have anything left? Can he get it better? Rick Eckert trying to be quick, Rick, this afternoon. 21.536. He'll stay in the fourth spot. 21.536 for Rick Eckert. In the blue, number 15, JP out of Athens, West Virginia, Jeremy Peck. Jeremy Peck in car 15, JP. We are past the halfway point, just past the halfway point in qualifying here this afternoon. 22.844, 22.844, the first lap for young Jeremy Peck. 22.590, 22.590, lap 2 for Jeremy Peck. 22.590. The elder statesman of the Conley gang from Wheelersburg, Ohio, Delmas Conley. Delmas Conley, 8th in the Stars point standings coming into this afternoon. Traveling quite a bit with the Stars series here in 1997. Got off to a good start down in Florida. 22.397. 22.397. Rocket chassis for Delmas. 22.413, 22.413, the second lap for Delmas Conley. Out of Asheville, New York in the Coors Light, bull place 28B, Dick Barton. Dick Barton in car 28B, the winningest driver in the late models in the Northeast United States a year ago. And has got several feature wins again this season. In fact, was the winner Friday night at the Ace High Speedway in Conneaut, Ohio. 22.222. Twos across the board for Dick Barton. 22.222. That's a Ford power plant, a Melquett Ford under the hood of that Bullet chassis. 22.223, 22.212, the second lap for Dick Barton. Another young driver moving up into the late model wars of late. The Dresden, Ohio's Took Wiles in the number 187. Took Wiles, another strong runner out of the Buckeye Speedway area. Took Wiles, 187, the number. 23.121, 23.121, the first lap for Took.
How am I going to do this?
23.144, the second lap for Took Wiles. Second-year late model driver, the youngster out of Wellsburg, West Virginia, Lance Elson. Lance Elson in that bullet chassis. The gallery interior's number 17. Winner last season down at the Tyler County Speedway. 23.002, 23.002, the first lap for Lance Elson. .752, the second lap for Lance, 22.752. In the Donald Wood sponsored number 34 machine, this is Jeff Wood out of Athens, Ohio. Jeff Woods from Athens, Ohio in car 34W. 22.396, the first lap. Top six cars locked into the fast dash. The rest of the field will run 5 qualifying heats. 5 heats. The top 3 in each heat will move into the A main. 2 B mains will follow with the top 2 in each B main moving in. 22.469, the second lap for Jeff Wood. Another up-and-coming Mountaineer State driver in the Hartley Trucking 32H from Ravenswood, West Virginia, Scott Hartley. Scott Hartley in car 32H. 22.536. Rick Ecker was the last car to break 22 flat. It's been a while since we've had anyone under 22 flat. 22.817, the second lap for Scott Hartley. Out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the S&B machine, number 34, Bob Burgess. Bobby Burgess in car 34, bullet chassis for Bobby, regular runner. The Challenger Raceway, also venturing up to the Wimber Speedway, where he picked up a feature win this year. 22.400, lap 1 for Bobby Burgess, trying to make the starting field here this afternoon. The defending champion Todd Andrews going across the scales now. He'll be coming up soon here as qualifying continues. 22.288, lap 2 for Bobby Burgess. In the rocket chassis number 5M from Ashland, Ohio. He's been a hot shoe this year at the Buckeye Speedway. Ryan Markham. Ryan Markham in car 5M. Ryan's second right now in the Stars Rookie of the Year point standings. 22.184. 22.184 the first lap for Ryan Markham, switching over to rocket chassis here in 1997. 22.396 the second lap for Ryan Markham, 22.396. In the number 10, the other half of the Bond gang from Coolville, Ohio, Larry Bond. Larry Bond in that pretty blue number 10 machine. 23.223 the first lap. Larry is the 45th car to qualify, so we still have about 22 cars to go. .588 the second lap for Larry Bond. A newcomer to the Pennsboro Speedway from Loudonville, Ohio in the Cowan Truck Line 21, George Lee. George Lee, the driver of car number 21. 22.576 the first lap for George Lee. .437 the second lap. Bright yellow, number 12 out of Cambridge, Ohio, another youngster, Courtney Clewell. Courtney Clewell in car number 12. .22.103. Courtney Clewell's first lap. Last year, the first year he visited Pennsboro Speedway as a driver. Not a bad lap, 22.103. And 21.948. 21.948. That will get him in the top third of the field right now. In fact, put him about 11th or 12th. In car number E10, this is Brian Eaton out of Belpre, Ohio. Brian Eaton in car E10 out of Belpre, Ohio.
What did you say, Belton?
22.940 is the first lap time for car E10, Brian Eaton. .22.924 the second lap. 22.924 the second lap. Into Jay's Auto Wrecking Tracking number 61, making the tow down from Erie, Pennsylvania, Dan Armbruster. Change of colors in 1997, was yellow, now purple. Dan Armbruster, South runner-up at the ASI Speedway, the Erie State Line Circuit. 23.216 the first lap. 23.216 the first lap for Dan Armbruster. 23.743, 23.743 lap 2 for Dan Armbruster. And the Simonson Windows, number 30 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, it's Steve Shaver. Steve has 2 wins with the Stars in 1997, currently fifth. Fifth place right now in the Stars point standings. Steve Shaver in that Rayburn chassis. 22.333, 22 triple threes for Steve Shaver. .592, the second lap, a little slower for Steve Shaver. In car number 111 from Pilgrim, Kentucky, Paul Davis. Paul has added another 1 to the number this year, was the 11, now 111 for Pilgrim, Kentucky's Paul Davis. Always with us at the Pennsboro Speedway for the Hillbilly 100 and the Dirt Track World Championship. 23.073, 23.073. The first lap for Paul, he'll have to pick up the pace. If he's going to contend here this afternoon. 22.648, 22.648, much better the second lap, 22.648. And the Cowan truck line, bullet chassis number 42, the Duke Center Terror from Duke Center, Pennsylvania. This is Todd Andrews, actually now making his home in Eldred, Pennsylvania, the defending champion of the Hillbilly 100, Todd Andrews. Ford Power, bullet chassis. 22.523, 22.523, lap 1 for Todd Andrews. Recently picked up a win down at the Hagerstown Speedway as part of their 50th anniversary special. Did win the big one, but was in the hunt all week and did win the opening night there. 22.417, 22.417, lap 2 for Todd Andrews. Out of Beckley, West Virginia, in the 11, Joe Meadows, little Joe Meadows in car number 11, the Moorhead sponsored number 11.
I don't mean to keep running.
22.420, 22.420, the first lap for Joe Meadows. 22.164, 22.164, the second lap for Joe Meadows, 22.164. And the the Conley Trucking 71R, another driver out of Wheelersburg, Ohio, one of the sons of Delmas Conley. We are talking about Rod Conley in car 71R. Rod Conley, 2 wins with the Stars in 97, currently 6th in the point standings. A fast lap, 21.519. That is 4th quick, 21.519 for Rod Conley. That knocks Tim Hitt out of the top 6. .709, not as good the second lap. 21.709 for Rod Conley. Car number 77, another driver out of Wheelersburg, Ohio, Barry Bragdon. Barry Bragdon in car 77, your top 6 right now. Bart Hartman, Gary Stuhler, Chump Frank, Rod Conley, Rick Eckert, and Mike Johnson is on the bubble. 22.613, 22.613 the first lap. 22.613. 22.708, 22.708. In the Franklin Racing Supply, cars in credit 4 from Valencia, Pennsylvania, Ed Ferree. Ed Ferree in car number 4 out of Valencia, PA. Currently a 3-time winner this year at the Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. It's a rocket chassis with a drain power plant. 22.100, 22.100 the first lap for Ed Ferree. .21.809 for Ed Ferree in car 02 from Eleanor, West Virginia, Jody Moore. Jody Moore in car 02. 22.506, 22.506 the first lap for Jody Moore. We're getting down near the last 10 cars, down to about the last 10 cars. 22.294, 22.294 the second lap for Jody Moore, 22.294. Into Don's disposal, number 5L, Steve Lucas out of Charleston, West Virginia. Steve Lucas. 23.064, 23.064. Lap 1 for Steve Lucas. Super Booper coming up next. Booper Bear. .909, 22.909 lap 2 for Steve Lucas, 22.909. And the 52 and 8 Shell Rocket Chassis 00 from Rockbridge, Bath, Virginia. It is Booper Bear. Booper started the year out with that big win down in Florida at the East Bay Nationals. 22.473, 22.473. It's the rocket chassis for Booper. Chevrolet power under the hood, a Malwood racing engine. 22.473, lap 1. 22.243 the second lap, 22.243 the second lap for Booper Bear. In the Gross Lumber 75 out of Worcester, Ohio, Mr. Mopar, Don Gross. Don Gross in car 75. Chrysler Power, rocket chassis. New rocket chassis for Don. Let's see what the first lap time is. 22.229. 22.229. Lap 1 for Don Gross. We did not get a second lap for Don Gross. In the 28, out of Tyler Mountain, West Virginia, Harold Redman, one of the local favorites here in the Mountaineer State, Harold Redman in car 28. 23.144 is the first lap. 23.144 the first lap for Harold Redman. .217, lap 2, 23.217 for Harold Redman. In the number 15, out of Georgetown, Ohio, Scott Peltz in car 15P. Scott Peltz out of Georgetown, Ohio. 22.833 the first lap for Scott, 22.833. Don Gross will come back out and get one more lap, one lap. 22.690, 22.690 the second lap for Scott Peltz, and now Don Gross with one lap. His first lap was 22.229. 22.229 the first lap. 22.448, 22.448 the lap for Don Gross. Defending Stars champion and current points leader Steve Francis coming at you next out of Ashland, Kentucky in the Action Auto Mart. On Sealy number 15, Steve Francis. Steve with 5 feature wins in the Stars Series in 1997. Rocket chassis. 21.852, 21.852. That puts him 12th. 12th fast right now. 21.852. 21.792. 21.792 will move up a couple of spots. Into the 10th spot. Steve Francis in the 10th spot in car 15. In the 001 out of Lubbock, West Virginia, Greg Mitchell. Greg Mitchell. 3 more cars to qualify after Greg Mitchell. 3 more cars to qualify. .23.035 was the first lap. 23.035 first lap for Greg Mitchell. .22.707 the second lap. 22.707 the second lap. The number 59 of Dub Barnhouse from Caldwell, Ohio, always at the Pennsboro Speedway. Dub Barnhouse in car number 59.
That's about it, dedication.
24.273 is Dub's first lap. 24.273. The Dubber holding on to the wheel there between 3 and 4. 24.942. 24.942 lap 2. This is Dave Norton from Shingle House, Pennsylvania. Dave Norton out of Shingle House, Pennsylvania in car number 24X. Picked up a feature win this season at the Lernerville Speedway. Shingle House is up in the northwestern corner of Pennsylvania. .22.970. 22.970. Lap 1 for Dave Norton. .726. 22.726. Lap number 2. Final car to qualify out of Lubbock, West Virginia, the 24C of Ryan Klein. Ryan Klein in car 24C.
West Virginia too.
22.988. 22.988. .22.577, 22.577, lap number 2 for Ryan Klein. And that will conclude our qualifying for this afternoon's Hillbilly 100. And the first man on the speedway is the fast man so far today. Car 75, your fast qualifier, Bart Hartman. 21.356. Second fast, the 19 of Gary Stuhler at 21.363. Third fast, the star 1 of Chubb Frank at 21.492. Fifth fast, 71R Rod Conley, 21.519. Fifth fast, Rick Eckert in the 24 at 21.536. And rounding out the top 6, that'll move into the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. The 2J of Mike Johnson at 21.651.
Number one, before we get underway, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise, and we will have the track prayer by promoter Rick Gross, and also be singing our national anthem here this afternoon. Upcoming young country star Melissa Clevenger Baker. She has appeared at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Legends Car Series, where she sang the national anthem, and also at many other big country shows. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our prayer.
Let's bow our heads, please. Good afternoon, Father. We come to you again today, praising you and thanking you for the blessing of a beautiful day. This beautiful day that you've created for us just to enjoy dirt track racing. May you ride with each driver as they run at high speeds and very competitive side-by-side racing around this half-mile oval. Keep each one safe, and may they always be focused on the ultimate goal, the goal to be in glory with you, Father. We just lift this up to you in the precious name of your Son, our Savior, and our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Oh, it's so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Start in the 7th spot. The winner of this heat will start in the 7th spot from inside row number 4 for the Hillbilly. Lights are out, looking for the green flag when they hit the chalk line coming off the 4th turn. The pace truck picks up the pace. They'll be headed into the pit area. Still hit. Mike Balzano. It's a West Virginia front row for your first qualifying heat for the 29th Hillbilly 100. And here they come on the throttle off the 4th turn. The green is out. It's Balzano from the outside taking the lead. Hits second. Meadows slips into third. Jeff Yeager running fourth down the backstretch. Bobby Burgess fifth. And Rod Evans and Todd Andrews. Andrews in the 42 picks up 2 spots coming off of turn 4. Todd Andrews quickly moving up into 5th and now looking for 4th in turn 2. Todd Andrews on the move. He started 7th, now running 4th. Balzano still leads. Hit running second. In the third and final transfer spot right now, the 11 of Joe Meadows. Mike Balzano and Tim Hitt watch the battle for third, the final transfer spot. Todd Andrews in the 42 starts to pressure the 11 car of Joe Meadows. Balzano's lead 6 or 7 car lengths as they run into turn 3. Turn 2, Meadows slipped and Andrews is up to third. The Cowan truck line, Bullet Chassis, Ford Power Plant into the third spot. At the halfway point, we've got 5 laps remaining, 5 laps to go. But he is closing in on the front 2 cars. There's no doubt he is the fastest car on the speedway in this first heat race. Car 42, Todd Andrews. Two more laps to go this time by. 2 more laps to go, and Andrews is closing in. Final lap. The E.R. Corbin Trucking, E1 of Mike Balzano, has been your leader from the start. From outside of row 1, pulls hitter Tim Hitt second and 7th, starting Todd Andrews in third in the final transfer spot. Coming to the checkered flag. The Floodwall Flyer out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, Mike Balzano, your winner. Tim Hitt second and Todd Andrews third. Joe Meadows fourth. Jeff Yeager fifth. Bobby Burgess sixth. Then Lou Bradish, Harold Redmond, Rod Evans, Dave Berkey, and Steve Lucas round out the field. So it's Balzano, Hitt, and Andrews from 7th moving in to the Hillbilly 100. Well, the big talk of that heat race, Dale, had to be Todd Andrews coming out of 7th very quickly into 3rd. And when he got into 3rd, he had a lot of real estate in between him and the first 2 cars. And, I mean, he closed it up real quick. So Todd Andrews, like you said, definitely one of the quickest cars on the track in heat race number 1. We've got another one getting ready. Don't touch that dial. Leave it on the same station. Heat race number 2 rolling out. Starting on the front row out of the University City, out of Morgantown, West Virginia, the Shiz Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania, the 61 of Dan Armbruster. Heat race number 2, behind the number 1 Cochran Pace truck, Dave Groves. 20 years behind the wheel of a race car. Davey Johnson, former National Stars champion, won on Friday night in a different car here this afternoon. Johnson in the 2JX machine. Kind of get some of that old chemistry back that he had in the early 90s. It looked real strong on Friday night. Keith Berner, 2 Buckeye drivers in that second row, Berner and Gross. Working out of 3 and 4. Down the back chute they come.
flies, we're underway. Davy Johnson wastes no time to get in the lead. Back straight away. They look into 3 and 4. Johnson hauls the flock of cars into 3. Now out of 4. Johnson at the controls. They motor past the flagman. Johnson, Groves. Look at Groves slide up. Burner wastes no time to drop down underneath the Millersburg chauffeur in the second spot. Gross is 4th. Green flag flies, lap number 2. Mark Bunnell now. Bunnell has pulled into 5th after starting 6th. Johnson's pulled away a big size lead very quickly. Burner trying to run him down to the 96F car. Coming up on lap number 4 this time, Davy J showing some of his old prime that he showed back in the early 90s on lap number 4. Johnson, a National Stars champion, took off a few years and ran with the Busch Grand National circuit down south, then moved back, and today driving his younger brother's backup car and doing one heck of a job as he has got at least 10 to 15 car lengths lead over the second place running Burner. Now Burner in the 96 car is sitting all alone as he drops into 3 and 4. Then we move back. The battle on the racetrack is for 3rd and 4th as they come across the stripe this time. That's Dave Groves and Don Gross. Gross, the grandfather out of Worcester, Ohio, trying to put that 75 car into the show. Gross on a limited racing schedule in 1997 would like to make this 29th edition of the Hillbilly 100 this afternoon, but Dave Groves has got different thoughts on that. Groves not making any mistakes, keeping that 32 Shinnston Plumbing car right stuck in the middle of the racetrack. We move back. Mark Bunnell. Bunnell running in the 5th spot in the T8. Then it's a flock of cars, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, all alone. But back out in front, he has led from the opening lap as he receives the 1-lap indication from the flagman this time. Davy Johnson takes it down into turns number 1 and 2. Burner is 2nd. Dave Groves is 3rd. Groves finally pulling a little bit of distance between him and Don Gross. As the exits turn 4, here comes your winner of heat race number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it'll be car number 2J, Davy Johnson. Finishing 2nd will be the 96F of Keith Burner. Dave Groves will finish up 3rd, followed by Don Gross in 4th. Mark Bunnell will finish up 5th. As we complete our 2nd heat race of the night. Going into the main event, we'll be finishing up 3rd will be car number 32 of Dave Groves. Finishing up in the runner-up spot, starting 3rd on the field will be Millersburg, Ohio, car number 96, Keith Burner. And ladies and gentlemen, your winner of heat race number 2, leading it from lap number 1 to lap number 10. How about a nice round of applause out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania, the 2JX of Davy Johnson.
Seems to be a question at the scales on the weight of the 2JX of Davy Johnson. for the third heat race. And here they come. The green is out. Look out. Down the front stretch into one. Everyone gets separated. Chuck Harper, doing that blue smoke from outside the front row, takes off with the lead. The Bedford Bullet, Bob Salathy, is second. And Billy Hicks in car 6 sets in third. In car 6 gets underneath of Bob Salathy. They're side by side down the back stretch into turn 3. Hicks will make the pass into the runner-up spot. Salathy, who started on the pole, now back in third. Second, and Bob Salathy in the final transfer spot with 3 laps down. 7 to go. Ryan Markham running fourth right now. Dave Norton in the 24X, who started way in the back, has picked up another spot. Norton has moved up into the 6th spot after starting last. In the next to the last row. Caution on the speedway. The 07R of Brent Rayberg limping in. The green comes back out. Chuck Harper, who had a good run last night up at Interstate 79 in the Mountain State Invitational. Leading the way here. Trying to pick up the 9th starting spot this afternoon. Starting to put the pressure on. Car 6 out of Mount Airy, North Carolina, was right up underneath Harper in the middle of 3 and 4. Halfway, 5 laps down, 5 laps to go, 5 down, 5 to go. It's a 3-car freight train off at turn 2. Ryan Markham a close fourth in the 5M, staying in striking distance. Front wheel off the ground as he exits turn 2 down the back straightaway. Trailing that blue smoke. A valve seal leak, but he said he's going to try and nurse this baby all afternoon. It's holding up so far. Ryan Markham now in the 5-car trying to put the heat on Bob Salathy, the Bedford Bullet, for the final transfer spot. The race for third. Completing lap number 8, we've got 2 more laps to go. 2 laps to go this time by. Salathy now has opened up some daylight over Markham, holding on to third, a solid third right now, 1 more lap. Checkered flag, third heat race win to Chuck Harper over Billy Hicks. Bob Salathy finishes third to move into the A main. Ryan Markham, Jeff Woods, Dave Norton next in line. Robbie Scott, Ray Tucker, and the rest of the field. It's Chuck Harper in the 00H, Billy Hicks in the 6, and Bob Salathy in the RG3 moving into the Hillbilly 100.
Well, Chuck is Conley out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. Tim Jim Harsh and Jim Zane and make up the next row. 111 of Paul Davis and Salem, West Virginia's Mike Benedum in car number 25. Took Wiles in the 187 and bringing up the rear, the 59, the Double Dub Barnhouse out of Caldwell, Ohio. So, heat race number 4. Set to go, 97 current stars points leader, Steve Francis on the front row. Here they come out of turns 3 and 4. Uh-oh, we've got trouble on the drop of the green. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved. Not a good day for the Cochran Automotive bunch out of Monroeville, Pennsylvania. The only thing straight is the pace truck here. It looks like Rob House is going to make it out, but they're going to hold him up as the starting field comes to life. Try to get this one underway. Here they come out of 3 and 4, and it looks like green flag waves. Field comes down the front chute. House comes out on the speedway, and Steve Francis is the first of the heat races to take the lead on the inside. Cleewell running in that second spot, and car number 12 sets in the runner-up spot. Good battle for third between Delmas Conley and Booper Bear. Here comes Booper now working down on the inside. Watch the third spot. Mike Benham and Paul Davis all joining in for that third spot. Uh-oh, Benham way up high against the guardrail, just barely saving that car from taking a pretty good ride down into turns 1 and 2. Now gets around Booper Bear. Davis in that Davis trucking car out of Pilgrim, Kentucky. Looks to be one of the quickest cars on the speedway right now. Davis trying to run down Delmas Conley. Steve Francis setting sail, coming up on the halfway point this time of this 4th qualifying heat race of the afternoon. How about the job young Courtney Clewell is doing here this afternoon? A youngster, I believe, first time to Pennsboro Speedway. In that second spot. Before they come, Francis, Clewell, Conley, and Paul Davis. Look at Davis. Man, he is really hauling it into turns 1 and 2. Making up a lot of speed down the back chute. Paul Davis and Delmas Conley have raced a lot of laps together. Here comes Davis now, right on the back bumper of Conley. Booper Bear sitting in that 5th spot. The first 2 cars have pulled away from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars here in this qualifier. Francis, 5-time winner in 1997. Big lead in the Stars Points series with 1 lap to go. Having a great year in that rocket drain-powered automobile. 1 to go. Paul Davis, can he do it? He sets Conley up. The car just a little bit shaky as the car goes in. Here comes your winner. It's going to be Steve Francis by about 8 or 9 car lengths. Courtney Clewell running second. Battle for third. Paul Davis gets around and takes the third spot. Paul Davis, the Pilgrim, Kentucky driver, waited to the last lap, last turn, the last shot to get around Delmas Conley to take the third and final transfer spot. So, ladies and gentlemen, finishing up third, going into the A-main, in the 1-1-1 car, it'll be Paul Davis starting way in the back of the pack. Matter of fact, Davis starting just out of the top 10. Finishing up third. Young Courtney Clearwell finishing up second in the 12C. Great job for him out of Cambridge, Ohio. And Steve Francis, ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause for the 15 car. Your fourth qualifying heat race winner, Steve Francis.
Shaver from Parkersburg, West Virginia. Dutch Davies in the 40 from Warren, Pennsylvania. From Strasburg, Ohio, the 79 of Brad Malquit. From Athens, West Virginia, in the 15, Jeremy Peck. From Marietta, Ohio, the 7L of Buck Lamb. From Wellsburg, West Virginia, the 17 of Lance Elson. From Coolville, Ohio, in the 810, Andy Bond. And from Garland, Pennsylvania, the 03 of Chevy Scott. Final 3 transfer spots into the A-main before this afternoon's Pro Sharks B-mains.
Bob, can you talk to her a minute, please?
Looking for the green when they come off the 4th turn. Ed Fareed, car number 4. 3-time winner this year at Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. Aaron Scott alongside in the 33. Here they come. They're on the gas. And the green is out, and it's Fareed taking the lead. Fareed leads. Scott runs second. Ty Long is third in car 55. Dick Barton fourth and Steve Shaver fifth as we complete lap number 1. Turn 1 is still Fareed, Aaron Scott, Ty Long, Dick Barton, and Steve Shaver. Top 5 the same, no change. Then it's Dutch Davies, Brad Malquit, Lance Elson, Jeremy Peck, Andy Bond, Chuck Lamb, and Chevy Scott. The same over Aaron Scott. We're past the halfway point now with Ty Long still third. Back a ways to the 4th place car of Dick Barton. Steve Shaver right behind him in 5th. laps to go. Final heat race. Up next, the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. Scott, Ed Furrie leading Scott second. They were the front row at the start. Ty Long started fourth. He has picked up one spot. Right now in the final transfer spot as we begin the final lap. See, the cars are starting to push. The rubber's being laid down. The track tightening up. Here comes Furrie, the Franklin Racing Supply. Cars in credit 4 rolls to the win in heat race number 5 with Aaron Scott second and Ty Long third. Dick Barton, Steve Shaver, Dutch Davies, BM Output, Lance Elson, Andy Bond, Jeremy Peck, Chuck Lamb, and Chevy Scott complete the field. The final 3 transfer spots from the heats. Ed Furrie, your winner. Heat race number 5. Aaron Scott second. And Ty Long third. Not a whole lot of movement after the green flag dropped in that one. Starting fourth in the Wooden Memory Star, one from Sugar Grove, the Shoestring Traveler, Chub Frank. And the reliable painting, Duran Paints and Wall Coverings 19, Greencastle, Pennsylvania's Gary Stuhler. And on the 6th spot, your fast qualifier, the Hartman Truck Center 75, the Bart Man from Zanesville, Ohio, Bart Hartman. Johnson in the 2J, Eckert the 24. The pace track will head into the pits, and here we go. The Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. The quick 6. On the gas into turn 4. Oh, we got them together. Rod Conley ends up in the guardrail. Stuhler was able to get stopped before any contact. Pace truck pulls away. The Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash, second try. Better start this time into turn 4. They come rocking and rolling on the front straightaway. Mike Johnson and Rick Eckert, and it's Johnson with the lead into turn 1. Eckert second. Hartman now. Chub Frank gets by the Bartman in turn 2. Dropping him to 4th. Here comes the 71 of Rod Conley, and Eckert goes to the outside into 3. Rick Eckert takes an outside pass for the lead, and here comes Chub Frank to second. Johnson third, Rod Conley now 4th, Hartman back in 5th, Stuhler runs 6th. Hartman trying to get back under Rod Conley in turn 2. The Rayvest Excavating Rayburn of Rick Eckert shows the way. Chub Frank second, Mike Johnson third. Rod Conley 4th, and Bart Hartman and Gary Stuhler still 6th. Coming to the halfway point this time by. To go in the Iski Racing Cam's Fast Dash. Eckert is fast, turning laps at 21.1 seconds. The fastest laps of the afternoon being turned in by Rick Eckert in car 24. Chub Frank second, Mike Johnson third, Rod Conley, Hartman and Stuhler 1 lap to go. Serving notice that it may be he who is the man to beat here this afternoon. Remember back to last October. Does Pennsboro owe him a favor? The checkered flag to Rick Eckert. Chub Frank second. Mike Johnson, Ron Conley, Bart Harbin, and Gary Stuhler. Well, Pete, we talked earlier about the fact that Rick Ecker was just so fast here last October, and a heartbreak to lose the Dirt Track World Championship, and he'll be starting on the pole here again this afternoon in his first appearance here since the Dirt Track. Looks like the man to beat early on anyway for the Hillbilly 100.
Well, many race fans feel that Rick Ecker was robbed of that $50,000, but I'll tell you what, he's got his guns loaded and he's back to take some money home to see it this afternoon, because I'll tell you what, he looked real super strong.
Got 100 laps of racing, anything can happen. It'll be he and Chubb Frank on the front row. Hey, pretty aggressive racing early on in that Iski Racing Cam's fast dash.
It was a good move by both Chubb and by Rick, you know, especially in turns 3 and 4. They wasted no time to get to the front.
In the 99 out of Beverly, Ohio.
Modifieds. We started out 1990 with just 7 or 8 cars. This year, over 36 cars signed into the pits. Full field of the Mod Squad are in town. Down into turns 3. They work very slowly. Danny Dean, Doug Henrys, 2 of the favorites on the front row. It looks like we will not be going green this time. Race fans on the front straightaway. How about it? Let's hear it as they come by. Race fans. Burnett, Larry Kiefer make up the front 2 rows. Ken Riddle and Barry Jacobs make up row 3. Watch that white line. Here they come. The Brickyard Outhouse 30 Moonshine 20. Down into turn number 1, they go. The Brickyard 25 is on. Safely through turns 1 and 2 that time. Danny Dean getting a challenge by, look at this, Barry Jacobs and Doug Henry. Down into 1 they go. Danny Dean takes over the lead. Danny Dean will lead lap number 2 also. Second. 1 car going very high. We've got 1 car on the front chute. Caution comes out. Getting ready to take the green once again. Danny Dean pushes the button. And we're back underway. Waste no time, out in front. Doug Henry running second. Battle now for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Starting to develop now. The 5 car of Larry Kiefer pulls into 3rd. Kiefer, who started 4th, moves up 1 more spot, dropping John Burnett back to 4th. One car losing the handle, the 150 automobile of Tim, sitting in that 2nd spot. Green flag waves, we're back underway. front chute. Dean now starting to pull a little bit of real estate in between him and his second place car, Doug Henry. Larry Kiefer still into third as Dean's slick body. We've got one car in trouble. Down into turns one. All right, Field once again with 8 laps down comes to life after that lengthy caution down into turns one. Green flag back out. Once again, we've got one car up into the guardrail. Another caution coming out very... Danny Dean once again brings the field around on lap number 9. superior car in this event. Watching the racing in the back of the field, though. The one car of Doug Henry, he has set sail throughout this event. In second, Kiefer moved into third on lap number 2, and that's pretty much where he is set, into that third spot. Jacobs, who started 6th, now has worked his way into 4th, challenging for 3rd. The 88 of Barry Jacobs cautioned once again. In the back of the pack, trying to move up just a little bit of that white number 1. Dennis started midway in the pack. Working on Gene Butler. led this thing the eternity. As he heads down the back straight, Doug Henry has nothing for him right now. Coming up on lap 17, Kiefer is third. The quickest car right now in the back of the field is the 88 of Barry Jacobs, who's your fourth place car, followed by the 22R of Don Ross. Lap 17 coming up on lap number 18. Talking with our winner. We've got 6 laps to go, and it's still the Danny Dean Show, looking for his 4th consecutive win of the modified Backyard 25. Part of the Hillbilly 100 weekend here at the Pennsboro Speedway. 5 laps remaining. Doug Henry still second. Jacobs has taken over third now after running fourth for so long. Jacobs up to third in the 88, trying to put on a late race charge. Larry Kiefer in fourth, and Don Ross is fifth. With 4 laps remaining, 4 laps to go. And that lead is shrinking. Doug Henry is pulled right in on the back bumper of Danny Dean. And right behind Henry comes Barry Jacobs. Dean, though, able to open it back up as the battle for second intensifies. This is like the last time down the back straight up. It looked like Dean's car slowed, but it's back up to speed, and he's pulling away again. 2 laps to the finish, 2 laps to go for Danny Dean. Yes, Dean continues to stretch the advantage. From the start, took the lead, completing lap number 1. It'll be his 5th Backyard 25 win and 4th in a row. Oh, but it's not over yet. We've got a car spinning in front of the race leader. Caution is out. Caution is out. It's not over yet. Do not speak too soon. Up to speed for the 1-lap dash. And Dean leads off the 4th turn. Doug Henry still second. Barry Jacobs is third. And the 5-car, Larry Kiefer, right down the front stretch trying to get back under the 88 of Barry Jacobs, but unable to do so. This is it down the back straightaway. Mount Vernon's Danny Dean. He has dominated another Backyard 25. His 4th in a row, 5th overall. Henry 2nd, Jacobs 3rd, Kiefer 4th. And completing your top 5, Don Ross in the 22R, and someone blowing a motor here. The 1 car. Looks like... Buddy, that makes number 5. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is like home down here. The flagman asked me what I was doing down on the bottom. I said I was getting it ready for a late model feature.
I'll tell you, you see right on the bottom trying to keep those tires cool, then all of a sudden you maybe try to bring some heat up in them.
Well, we had a new set of Hooters on, a new style today. I've been running asphalt Hooters, and we had a new set of number 30s. And it was debatable whether he's going to make it or not.
I'll tell you, it looked pretty good.
I haven't looked at them yet.
Hey, you've been at this racetrack a long time, about 25 or almost 25, 28 years. How's the racetrack out there raceable?
It's just the same as it was when I come here.
Hey, congratulations, Danny.
I love this place.
Hey, nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Dean, Mount Vernon, Ohio. And he said nothing has changed over 25 years here as he puts the 67 Central Ohio Fabricators modified into Victory Circle. Congrats.